live. We're live.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bom dia. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're really glad you're here today. We'll give it a minute for people to join us and then get into the topic of the day. Today's topic is the expats model, and we're going to talk about the struggles of getting stuck in that comfort zone with other expats. We'll also dive into the difficulties of integrating into the local culture and the language barriers that make it challenging. We've definitely experienced a lot of this firsthand, so we're hoping to guide you around some of the common pitfalls.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you're new here, it'll be fun. Alan and Leslie, we're excited to have you. We share our journey and our experiences with moving abroad, hoping to guide you as you plan your own adventure. Moving abroad is a big decision. It was for us, and we want to help you make that transition a little smoother.
Yep. If you're coming from the US like we did, it's easy to think about moving across the country, but moving to another country, that's a whole different ballgame. It can be tough to wrap your head around all these things you need to consider. There's lots to think about, but we're here to help you work through it all and share some exciting things that will make you look forward to your journey.
Yep. So before we get started, we've got a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy the video, like the stream, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to get our videos sent out to more people. And if you can, leave us a comment. Your comments are super important. They help our videos get more views, and views is really what it's all about. We'll be answering questions at the end, so feel free to add them in the chat as we go, and then we'll do those when we get to the very end.
Yeah. Let's talk about one of the biggest barriers when you move abroad, and that's the language. It's something that most people expect to be challenging, but honestly, it's often harder than we anticipate. Even if you study the language a little bit before you move, actually using it in real life situations is a completely different experience.
Yeah. And we learned that one the hard way, because one of the biggest regrets that we have is that we didn't go ahead and start doing our A1 and A2 language courses back in the States while we were working through the whole process of coming over. Yeah. We really wish we'd done it, because we'd be so much further along. We'd hit the ground running. And the A1 and the A2, it counts towards your citizenship. So that's a part of your process anyway.
Pretty important, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. We moved to an area where even most of the locals speak English, so it's been easy to get lazy with learning language. But when you're in an area where English isn't widely spoken, you quickly realize how important it is to learn the local language. It's one of the keys to truly feeling integrated.
Yeah, exactly. When we say learn the language, we don't just mean using like a language app, although those are very helpful and we still use ours. What we really recommend is committing to an official A1 or A2 course. You will want to make sure that that course is approved by the country that you're going to. These are structured courses that provide an actual certificate, which you can then help with your future plans. When you apply for citizenship, you have to submit them, and getting that certificate gives you the solid foundation from day one.
Yeah. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked: making friends abroad. You might think that moving abroad will mean making tons of new friends, but trust us, it's not as easy as it seems.
No, it's not. Friendships depend a lot on the timing and proximity. If you think about back in your hometown, you probably made friends at work. You made them at school when you were growing up and in college.
Through your kids' school.
Yeah. And then ultimately through the kids' school, activities, all of those things. But when you move abroad, you're starting fresh. And as much as you want to stay in touch with your old friends and they're all going to come and visit you, that's not really what happens. You'll stay in touch with them, but you need new friends. Mm-hmm. You'll notice that your old relationships will change. That doesn't mean it's over for those connections. They're still there, but it does open up space to make a whole new set of friends in your new country.
Yeah. And let's be real. It takes effort to build those new connections. Nice. You can't just sit back and hope for new friendships to magically happen. Your new neighbors already have friends, and they aren't going to be down to chasing you around to go through and make you a friend. And then other people who have the same struggles as you. It's easy to form bonds based on that, but you still need to keep putting yourself out there, inviting people to dinner,
Yeah.
asking them out for coffee, set up walks with them, go to the park. It's a process that takes time.
It does. So for us, if you don't know us or you haven't been here on the island, that's exactly why we started hosting an It'll Be Fun happy hour that's here on the island. We do it every couple weeks. And the idea behind that is for people that live here or people that are visiting or on their scouting trip so that we can meet them, introduce them to a whole group of expats to make new friends and connect, introduce them to some of the experts that we talk about all the time. And, it's been awesome. We've had up to 50 people at some of these events. The energy is amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great way for people to connect with others on a similar journey. But even with all of that, we are still working on trying to get a core group of friends.
Sure. Even though we've met so many wonderful people, it can still feel like we're on the outside looking in sometimes. Honestly, it kind of feels like junior high school all over again. And if we didn't love the junior high school the first time around, it's not exactly ideal to go through that again. But we know that building true friendships takes time and effort.
It does. Exactly. It's a process. We're still learning that we need to keep putting more energy into it. So don't get discouraged if that's what you're worried about. One, it can be done. And two, if you're already here and you're struggling, don't worry about that either. Just keep working at it. It doesn't happen right away. It'll be fun. Keep making connections.
Yeah. Now, one more thing before we wrap up. Don't let other people's success paralyze you. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others when you see them living what seems like a better life.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's always going to be somebody. If you are back home and you're thinking you don't have all the pieces of the pie, keep in mind there's always somebody that's got more luck than you do, more money than you, better toys, right? Bigger house. It's all okay. Don't worry. You also don't need to be millionaires to create your dream life abroad. We're here. We're living proof that it can be done. Don't let feelings of inadequacy stop you from creating the life that you want.
Once again, if you could, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It really does help a lot. Leave a comment and let's get going on with the questions.
Yeah. So, right. Feel free to ask us anything. Thanks so much to all of our supporters. You're the reason that we keep doing this.
Yep.
So I'm going to switch. I need to bring the camera to me a little closer so I can read the questions.
Okay, yeah, let me. Ooh, teeny.
Alan, ooh, teeny. So I'm literally going, for anybody else, just going back to the top of the chat, and it looks like we have greetings from California, from Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. Nice to see you. We have Dahlia says, hey, from Toronto, Canada. How much snow is in Toronto right
More
now?
than I care to deal with.
Yeah. And then it says, how's the boy doing? And I'm thinking that's probably the long-haired one that's over across the room.
Just out of the
here.
camera range.
Yeah.
Boy's doing all right.
He's doing all right. He's embarrassed that mom and dad are having a live stream because we are.
Hi, Wolfie.
Anyway, so Thomas, it says, hi from the north of Sweden. Oh, wonderful.
North of Sweden.
That's fantastic. I'm going to go.
Thomas,
we're going to come for a visit. Oh, we just had to have our camera adjusted because,
it was not right.
The long-haired young man didn't like it.
Okay.
So next up, it says, what are A1 and A2 language courses? And you probably caught that. And those are literally formalized courses. And it's kind of like kindergarten and first grade.
But those are the minimums to get your citizenship. A2 is minimum. So A1 first and then A2. And
that's in Portugal, but every country has A1s and A2s, and then it goes up all the way through B1, B2, C1, C2, all the way through.
It's part of the process to get your citizenship and your second passport.
And you can do them like we do them here, and there are schools here on the island and throughout Portugal and France, wherever you are, that you can take these, but there's also a way to do them online. Like we literally use one of the schools here, local, but we do them at home online so that way when we travel, we could just take it with us,
Yeah,
and we
it
don't
does.
have to go
Yeah,
down to the
makes it
school.
easier.
So, you have choices. So you can do that back in the States or in Canada, wherever you're at,
Mhm.
and go ahead and get going with that. Let's see. Conan the Barbarian. I agree. Language learning is very important. And you're right. I mean, that's probably, if it can be botched, that's the thing that we botched,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We should have started that a lot sooner. That's
Well,
for sure.
because now we feel silly.
Yeah,
Because
now it's playing catch up.
right. Yeah. I mean, class is fine, but when you're out talking and people are like, how long have you been here?
Yeah, it's kind of rude when you
Yeah.
know you have friends that are locals and they go, "Bom dia is all you know," and yeah, well,
I'm really
took you
good. You're really good at it.
3 years to do that. No, I know a little bit more than that, but anyway, it's coming slow, and we'll eventually get it figured
Yeah.
out.
Then the next one says you're in Madeira, right? Yes. And no, the weather was fantastic. Today we walked over to the other side. Where did we go?
We went to Boaventura.
Yeah.
And they did it's a point to point walk, and the start point is in one community and ended up at another. It's a nice high hike. So I took one for the team, which I don't mind doing. Drop them off the start point, drive around to the end point, and I hung out there and waited for them to get done. It was about a 2-hour walk for them, but it's a gorgeous walk.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's gorgeous area.
Well, we threw out some pictures earlier today of it, but Wolf did a lot of flying with the drone to share with everybody. So you'll see those in the upcoming videos. And it's a walk that, it's 300 feet up and 700 feet down. It's real quick though. And it's right on the edge of the coast. It's like the old travel road.
It's like walking on the edge like this, zigzag back and forth down. So,
and then at either end, there's a wonderful restaurant that you can sit at. So whichever you need to do, that works out. So that's a great one if you're here. And it's, you're talking 2 hours. It doesn't take any time at all.
One of hundreds of things you can do like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me get back to where I was. Then it says, you built a beautiful home. Do you ever go to Lisbon? Yeah, actually we do.
Yeah.
We have a Lisbon trip planned coming up here. That's probably not for a couple months because our next trip is actually back to the United States, which he's been back. Wolf and I have not been back to the States.
No.
So we're going back to the States to visit all the family and visit New York City, do some special things while we're there. That will be fun. Here we go. Hello from Massachusetts. Well, hello. Let's see. Next one, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hello. And then we've got Christopher, and he says, is 19 to 20 months a realistic timeline to complete moving from the U.S. to Portugal and getting a D7 visa? Yeah, your visa process, realistically, you're not going to get your paperwork ready until 6 months out, but you really need to know what you're doing and start planning a year out.
Yeah.
We say 2 years simply because you're figuring out where you're going to live, exactly what your numbers are.
So
all of that back end.
And
right, selling the house and finding your auctioneer, and if you're going to ship your product. Okay, your treasures,
your stuff,
your treasures, which that if you haven't been backwards in the videos, Alan's favorite thing to tell you is
don't bring it. They have stores here. You can replace everything you got, except for your, if you got a 1970 Volkswagen,
right? Then you
something you want to bring over, that you might want to think about putting in a container.
Yeah,
but they have lots of stuff here you can buy.
They do. You don't really need to bring it. So 19 to 20 months is perfect because it lets you get all the stuff done in the U.S.
And that time will go fast too.
It will go a lot faster than you think.
You've got so many things to do. Yeah.
And you can do the A1 and A2.
Yeah, while you're doing that.
You'll be happy with it. Okay, so let me see where I was because I'm so good at following along in this little thing over here. So the next one is Laura. And she says, do you ever have issues getting on and off the island? And do you ever get island fever? You answer first and then I'll answer.
I never get island fever. Although this island is only 14 miles wide and 35 miles long, it feels a lot bigger because it is such a mountainous area. That's little nooks and crannies and valleys, and there's so much to do. Think about where you are in your home with your own little community. You got a little sphere of 30 miles that you go, normal.
All the time.
You go to the grocery store, your hardware store, you visit friends, and for the most part, you stay right there. Well, that's the way it is here, but there's boundaries, there's a big ocean around the place. But, if we want to go someplace, it's, a quick flight to the mainland. We can go to Portugal and Lisbon, Porto, one of those areas, or go to France. So it's, pretty quick, and it's easy to get off. There's many major airlines here, so it's not really an issue.
No.
Um,
No, because the flights you can watch. I mean, if you buy your flight last minute, just like anything else in life, it can be more expensive, of course. But if you watch for flights and you don't have to go during, the busiest time of the year, which is the summer months,
Yeah.
just like any place else, that's when people are, able to travel. We've bought flights as cheap as 11 euros
Yeah,
to Lisbon,
that
which was a fluke.
yeah,
It'll never happen again. But,
No.
we did it. And which was awesome. And then the flight that I just did, I booked one now for the summer, early summer, and I got that for $88 for the three of us. Euros. I always say dollars. Euros for the three of us. So
has to go to Lisbon.
Right. And then when you get to Lisbon, you've got options. You can rent a car and start driving. You can go, drive to
Take a
Spain,
train.
go to France, take the train, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Island fever for me, I like to travel. I traveled a lot for work, so I like to get out and travel. So I simply I'm forever looking to see, where can we go next? And that's why I like to live here, because instead of being in Chicago area and traveling back to Ohio or having to go 12 hours to go to Florida, or, that kind of thing, it's, we can go to Lisbon, or, we can go to, let's go to France for a month, and figure that one out. So it's kind of fun because you get to do whole other areas of the world. So hello from Virginia, Maryland. She said she's coming to visit. So good. When you come, please, if you come to Madeira, plan on hitting one of the happy hours. We'd love to meet anybody who's doing that. The long-haired fellow, they're laughing. My daughter wants to go there, but the volcano's dead here.
It last erupted 6,400 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably not happening while we're here.
Considered dormant.
And if it does, it'll probably take us all out. So don't worry about it. It'll be fun.
I'm not planning on it.
It'll be fun. It's just like when the tsunami comes, we'll just go and, we'll be gone, right? Be simple. Okay, so next one says, you have a cat. I understand screens are not typical on the windows. Any concerns about keeping your cat indoors?
No, we leave the door wide open. He goes out and checks out the balcony. We're, 4 floors up here. He never jumps up there and has a look. He just wants to go out and smell around and chew on the leaves of the potted plant out there on the porch. But other than that,
But when we first got here, remember we were on the fourth. We always seem to be on the fourth floor.
Yeah.
But we were on the fourth floor, and I had a harness for him, and he was not happy about it. And we had him all hooked up. We were terrified that we kept calling him. He was going to be Sail Kitty. He's going to sail off into the wild blue yonder. It didn't happen.
No.
I mean, he didn't even try.
No,
he just wanted to go outside and get the fresh air.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, no issues.
Never has any issue with that.
No, I don't really know anybody that's had any issues with it. It's weird when you first come. It is.
No,
weird.
you just feel like it's a little 2-year-old kid or something out there. But no, he's pretty much set in his way. He ain't gonna do anything silly or stupid.
Yeah. So next up is, I hear the average humidity is in the 70s on the island, but you've said the humidity is low. Well, we also lived in Memphis before, which is 98%.
I think
is it different on different parts of the island? It is actually.
Yeah, it's lower in the winter normally as it is back in the States, but normally it's about 70% in the summer. So not terrible.
Yeah, and then when you go up higher, it's cooler and moister, so you do have a little bit more of a problem with mold growing up in those areas.
Mainly due to the temperature up there.
Mainly due to the temperatures and the fact that the homes here are not traditionally built with heating and cooling systems in them. Anything new, if you're buying a brand new condo, it may not have the system in it, but it'll be pre-plumbed and you can add the system to it. The place that we bought was not pre-plumbed. So before we could move in, we had to have the whole thing plumbed, and which is because the walls aren't drywall.
They're concrete, so
Mhm.
masonry. So it's not like, knocking drywall out and
Right.
putting pipes in and putting new drywall up. It's taking, air chisel. You can't be in there when the things like that are being done. They chisel out this line in the wall for the AC lines or the electricity, and then they have to go back and then mortar all over that. And, it's kind of a process.
So if you're buying here, that would be one of the things you're going to make sure is that it's pre-plumbed, or that that it's not, and you have some of that done for the rooms you're going to need it in, because they're by room, the room that you're going to need it in the most, and just have it done before you move in. Then you don't have to deal with it, because it's truly terribly messy.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's really nice to have it. It takes a chill off in the winter, and in the real warm summer days, it's nice just crank it the AC for a little bit.
Yeah, we really like it.
And because it takes the moisture out of there too.
Right, the units are humidifiers as well.
The process,
Right.
yeah, it takes the moisture out.
So next one, can you describe the process of leaving all your possessions behind and how you did so? Oh, can I tell his story? He'll say, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah, go ahead.
It happened. So we obviously started a couple years out because we actually got stuck during COVID. We thought we were coming, and then we didn't. So
yeah, we had a year and a half travel
Right.
ban. Nobody was allowed to leave the States.
Right. So we have plenty of time, but he would go to the garage, and he's a mechanic, for those of you who don't know, and we owned everything under the sun. I'm a horticulturist. We owned everything under the sun between the garage and the shed and the whole kit and caboodle. He would go to the garage for the day, and I would be in the house, in the attic, the basement, going through every last thing. And he would just come in and be like, oh my gosh, run in the house, freaking out, and then go back out to the garage. And so after like 6 months of this, I have gone through the whole house twice, because my theory is you go through it once, you'll throw out some things, you go through it again, you throw it, and by the time you get to the third time, you're like, it's gone. By then you're ready to let go. Well, I've done the whole entire house, and he's still trying to do the garage.
Yeah, well, it just basically boiled down to I had to realize that what the tools I was going to bring, I wasn't going to bring any of the big, woodworking tools. Those were all staying. Only thing I was bringing was tools to keep the Volkswagen alive. So I filled 2, small toolboxes with basic tools to keep the Volkswagen alive, and hammer and screwdriver just for hanging pictures and things like that. And then literally got rid of everything else. I'm talking a 2.5 car garage, 3 big toolbox sets, because I was a mechanic.
Well, we had a woodworking shop in the basement, and we had everything.
But sold stuff in a couple different sales, and my automotive tools I was kind of fond of, and I wasn't going to see those go for pennies on the dollar, so I gave them to my 2 adult sons back in the state, and that made me feel good, and they were happy to get them. So
yeah. So one of the hardest things to do is to just start throwing things out. But you just plan on doing it 3 times.
Yeah.
Hire the auctioneer at the end, and the reason you do that is because they don't want you present, and by not being present for that auction,
you're not gonna. Oh, I don't want that to go. No, I changed my mind. I don't want that. No, no.
You'll be like, oh, but that pen's worth $20 million, and they're like, oh, but I'm selling it for a dime. That way you don't know. Because it all comes out in the wash, meaning what I think's worth money isn't, and what somebody else thinks worth money is.
Yeah,
so
you're treasure for somebody else's junk. So it's part of the process. You got to whittle things down and go on to the next chapter. And part of that is getting rid of your.
Well, and one of the things that we did is we had lots and lots of pictures and framed things. So everything came out of frames and was flat packed and shipped. And so we slowly but surely reframed the things that we wanted the most.
Yeah.
So some things we did bring, right? So let's see. What's the next thing? Ola from Oregon. Oh, nice. Beautiful. I love watching your videos. Good. Thank you. I'm sorry. You all do such a wonderful job filming and communicating the topic. Wolf does all the filming, all the editing. He takes care of that. We kind of make up the topic. I write it. He's the king reader,
You can barely see the strings move.
He just does what he's told, which is good. It works out well. Thank you. Next one, Colleen says, I had a similar question. Do you know an estimated time frame to get an appointment at the West Coast Consulate for your D7? D7 appointments they can be running 3 months out at this point, from what we understand. Some people will get them, as long. And the other thing is, when you're in there, you can't be picky. If there's something available, you need to be prepared to just say yes and make it happen. If you just think if you think that you need to stop and think, then just say yes if you get it, and you have to keep going in repeatedly until you get it. You can get them a lot earlier, and then if you're not ready, then just frantically make sure that you get all your ducks in a row. You can print off the checkoff list on the website, the VFSglobal.com website. Or you can work with an immigration attorney if you need a couple recommendations. We have 2 that we work with. We actually worked with both of them for us as we came over, and then for Wolf, because he has a separate, completely different style of visa. So we have 2 that we trust. They're in the body of all of our emails or all of our video descriptions, as well as on the website, which is it'llbefunretirement.com. And we try and put all kinds of free stuff over there for you to find, because sometimes it's hard to find things on the YouTube channel. Okay. Next one, any best practices on how to get rid of all your, literally do the 3 thing, go through everything you own. Because the first time you go through that box in the attic you haven't opened in 20 years, you're going to look at it. Oh, I remember this from kindergarten. And then I have to keep it. And it goes into kindergarten. And this was Wolfie's when he was little.
Clothes are, if you haven't worn it in a year, you're probably not going to wear it. So get rid of it. Winter coats, you don't need 14 winter coats. I pack 1 lightweight down jacket and a down vest, and that's all I got. That's all I need. Yeah, I'm not intending to do 20 below zero anymore. So,
but wherever you're going,
yeah. But that's for an example. But
go through it 3 times. The first time you're going to have to love everything. The second time you'll love everything a little bit less, and you'll throw out a whole lot more. And the third time you will find yourself, you're just cutthroat. Yeah. The other thing is, when you get down to the third time, you probably got down to some things that you really like. So if you're having to get rid of them, take pictures. So many of the things that you cherish, you don't need the item as much as you want the memory. Yeah. And the item triggers the memory. So take a picture of it. You can still trigger the memory. Yeah. It's kind of awesome what phones have these days. Let's see what else. So the next one, Bom Dia from Colden, I see, New Jersey. Thanks so much for having the live chat. Yeah, we haven't done one in forever, so we really didn't know.
Study up and remember how to do this.
We almost had a heart attack.
Which button we push?
Anyway, how did you begin your journey, and how long did it take just to complete your departure from the States? Well, our journey got waylaid because of COVID. Right. But if truly, we started with our immigration attorney, because we did use one, about 10 months out. We just learned what the process was, learned what we had to do. And then from there, about 6 months out, we started going, full tilt at everything we needed. But we were a year and a half out trying to throw away things. Yeah, we were chomping at the bit coming here. But like I said earlier, a year and a half in COVID restrictions, it wasn't lifted until June of 2021. And so when it was lifted in June of 2021, July of 2021, we were here for 5 weeks for our scouting trip. Yeah. So we finally got to come. And when we are on our scouting trip, that's when we got our bank account and our NIF numbers. So we had that out of the way. So keep in mind, just real quick for everybody, so you start your process, you're going to have to, gather up all your documents, and you need to understand all that is. You got to figure out what you're doing with everything that you own in the United States. Are you keeping it? Are you selling it? Are you shipping it? Are you all those things? You got to understand cell phones, bank accounts, all that in the United States as well as over here. On our website, we have multiple ways. We have articles that we write on this. We obviously make videos, but some of these little details, they don't work well in a YouTube presentation. So we have a program that we put together that's got 100 little videos of all the things to do. So you're gonna, all of that, you'll go through it, but you're going to get your VFS appointment, you'll have your appointment, and then you probably got another 12 weeks before you're coming here or wherever it is you're going. Most countries require that you have a place to live. So if you're renting, you will need that rental contract formally filed. If you're coming to Portugal, it's got to be filed
It's gotta be
with the finance department.
a 1 year.
Right. And if you're coming anywhere to Portugal, Claudia and her team are there to help you. So just give them a call. It's simple. Just make your life easy. But keep in mind, you need that for when you do your VFS appointment. So if you don't get your thing for another 3 months, you're going to be renting something for a good 4 months, possibly before you even come.
Before you step
So
foot in the place.
that's just part of the cost of doing business. Or some people fly over on their scouting trips and go ahead and make their purchase for a home, that kind of thing, in advance, because maybe they've been here a couple of times, so they're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep in mind, VFS and the other, you need to at least have, I would set aside 12 weeks.
Yeah, at least.
For that. Well, 12 weeks for each. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be each. That's what I was saying wrong. Okay, so let's see. If one moves to Portugal or Europe with just a 30-day supply of very important prescription medicines, how can they fill it before it runs out? Okay. Can one use American prescriptions? No, actually it can't. At least not here in Portugal. And I'm almost positive France was the same way when we were there with Lessa. So the trick is one, bring your prescriptions, because it's so easy to get a doctor's appointment here in Portugal and they're not expensive. Now, obviously, when you first get here, you're going to have your travel insurance, which probably won't cover a regular appointment. And your main private insurance won't be fully kicked in for a couple months. And then the third piece of the pie is you won't get your public insurance until you've gone through the process on this side, which takes about 4 months after you get here. So those are all very random numbers, but you will be able to go to the doctor here. If you went, it would cost you maybe 40, 50 bucks. You would go, they give you the prescriptions. And in most cases, the prescriptions do not cost any more, even though you don't have prescription coverage, than what you're paying for it in the States, unless you have really, really good prescription insurance in the States. So it won't be terrible. What else?
Well, most prescription you have in the States, you may not be able to find the exact brand or dose, but there'll be an equivalent in Portugal.
Right, because it's what's approved by the Portuguese government. But the doctors and the pharmacists will figure that out for you. The other thing that you can do is there's a company that we like. You can call them and work with them before you come.
Recommend that.
Instead of, I do. Actually, they're called Serenity. They're listed on our website. So go on the website where it says vendors, and you can see that, and you can call them and talk to their team. They have a program that you can, it's almost free. And it's like they're your advocate. They help you set up your doctor's appointment. So, and you'll send all your medical stuff to them before you come. They'll help you get doctors in place, set up your doctor's appointments. Anything that you have trouble with, you call them, they take care of it and get you going. If you don't do that, which we actually didn't do it at the time, our medical insurance, the people that we used are really good, and they have been incredibly helpful as well. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. But don't worry about it. It's not as hard as you think it is. Next one, we've zeroed in on Braga. Nice area. Mm-hmm. As their destinations. Do you have any experience? Do we have some friends that ended up in Braga? We visited, but we haven't spent long periods of time there. But it's a great area, and the people that we know that live there, they're very happy there. There's a small expat community, so they get you started to making your friends. The main thing is the smaller the area. Madeira is a lot of expats, so that you know. the smaller the area is when you meet somebody, and we recommend this for anything that you're doing, is if somebody invites you to coffee or says, oh, we should meet for coffee, your answer is,
Yes.
when can we meet for coffee? And you schedule it right then and there. Or, exchange your phone numbers, exchange your WhatsApp and make that happen right away. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, I'm new and late. What island are you on? We are on the island of Madeira.
Off the coast of Morocco.
Yeah, we used to say that all the time.
Yeah, it's like closer to Morocco than it is to Portugal.
It's triangle.
Right. Well, if you think the Canary Islands are down here, and Funchal and the other islands are here.
And then Lisbon.
Yeah.
Right. So Lisbon. So we're closer to Africa than we are to Europe.
Yeah.
Hence why the weather's so good. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. So next one says, does your relocation team help with other parts? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She'd have a heart attack. Somehow we don't seem to, because we're always talking about Madeira, people don't understand. Our relocation team has offices in Lisbon as well as here. All of the relocation teams that we use have, they're from here originally, which is really nice. So, although they've lived on the mainland for years, they most of them travel back and forth. So you can meet them other place, or they have a team. Let's see. Next one, Boa Noite. Boa Noite. It's from Hugo. Yep. And then, what do you both do for income now? And what are your monthly costs now? Rent, food, insurance, vehicle. Okay, I can do the cost. You can hit on what you do for a living now.
I am.
Say bon dia.
Bon dia. I'm retired, so my living now is
talking to this channel.
Yeah, doing with this and going on taking drives, taking the dog for a walk a couple times a day, going golfing, doing retired stuff. I'm drawing on Social Security. I waited till my full retirement age for my Social Security, so that's what I rely on for.
Right. Income. So I obviously am not old enough to collect Social Security, and actually don't intend on collecting it until far out as possible. However, Wolf and I trade.
Yeah.
We do long-term and short-term tradings. And with our short-term trades, obviously short-term trading, you can generate income. Long-term trade is for down the road, for when he and I are too old to care about these things. So we do a lot of investing. We obviously built this channel. This channel does, if you use any of our affiliate links to the mail or whatever, in a lot of cases, we do get a little bit back for that. The majority of that money, believe it or not, goes to actually running the channel because it's kind of expensive, or it goes to paying Woofy for all of his hard work because he needs to have a job.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is his job.
Yeah. So for us, Social Security and then the short-term trading. So we have multiple different videos that we put together on cost of living, and we try to give you good numbers regardless of whether it's from here or France or that type of thing, by working with other expats to get good solid numbers for you. However, for us, ours run about 2,700 euros a month. And so we can actually live within our Social Security that we receive. Now, that doesn't mean that we can fly all over Europe for that. So if we run the air and the heat full time, that is literally $90 for all of our utilities. But if you don't run them, you're talking $50, $45 a month.
And summer it might get a little bit higher, but not much.
And then for cell phones are now up. They've gone sky high the past couple of years. Mine's $14.50 a month for unlimited gigabytes. His is $12.50, but you've only got 5 gigabytes.
That's all right.
Yeah, they ripped you off. And then Woofy's is 12. So cell phones cost next to nothing. Obviously, we own the phones. What else? Food. We spend a lot of money on food because I like to cook and he likes to eat.
Yeah.
So, And we don't chance. So we do spend a lot of money on that. Probably, I think the last time I ran it, it's like $450, and then we spend another $250 on run around on coffees and random stuff. But if you go through that video, you'll see because we nail it down, and then we also put in prices that are current on what it would cost to rent an apartment, so you could find an apartment and understand that clearly.
Yeah.
So it's not just old information. Let's see. Now I've lost my place. La 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 la. So you guys, Alan, sing a song.
That print is so small, I can't see anything.
It's because you're supposed to be singing.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I would have practiced.
Okay. Vehicle. You did ask about vehicle. If you're buying one, what a nice one or decent one is about.
You get a late model. It depends on your taste. So you can get a mid-size or small economy car, used with about a year old and maybe 30,000 kilometers. You can spend, it depends on the amenities on the car and whether it's a diesel and has turbo or anything, but it start off about 18 to 20, somewhere in that range. You can get a nice, fairly late model car. I would pick something that is common on the island, like a Citroen or a Peugeot, or because there's more of them there to service.
Parts
Availability, knowledge of the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically see what everybody else is driving and try to pick one. I'm going to make a recommendation that because it is an island, because the parking spots are about this big, you don't want a Lincoln Town car here. You're not going to be able to park it anywhere because they parallel park everywhere. And parking garages are really tight. So get something small.
Even if you come in here, keep in mind on a car, something the size of a RAV4 is huge.
Yeah.
It's like an expedition going down the road.
Yeah.
It's huge. So think very small from an American perspective. Think very small. So anyway, next one. Did you transfer your medical records? Did you bring them with you via paper or digitally? If you work with Serenity, he'll help you just bring them on over digitally. You could do that without any issues. We just had transferred ours. I brought them with me on paper when we came, but we didn't have a lot of health issues.
No.
So that it was very simple for us, but for others, bringing it over digitally and setting it up with Serenity in advance, I would think, is truly invaluable.
Yeah, I wouldn't skip that.
Hi from Seattle. Hi, Brian from Seattle.
Brian.
Glad you're here. There's Petty Nerd. Should I bother bringing any standard size tools or just stick with metric? Oh.
You're not going to find anything with standard sizes.
Yes,
I'd be very surprised.
Unless you brought your own something.
Unless you brought something that needs
right.
a standard size. But
Right.
metric is pretty much the rule of thumb here.
Yeah. So you won't really need to do that. Okay, so can you talk a little bit how you found the tax liabilities for USA and Portugal, how you have found the tax liabilities? So real quick, we came during the time when we were able to qualify for the NHR, and qualifying for the NHR is now they have a NHR 2.0, which I wrote an article on that one the other day. So it is on the website. So take a look at that. It gives you the details on that one. However, that means that you'll pay regular standard. If you don't qualify for that, you would pay standard taxes here in Portugal. However, your Social Security is taxed essentially by the treaty or by the agreement between Portugal and the U.S. is your Social Security is taxed in the United States. So you would pay what you pay in the United States currently for your Social Security. Now, regular pensions and IRAs and our trading accounts and that kind of thing, all of that is taxed here in Portugal. So we will pay our Portuguese tax, but then we also get a break on taxes in the United States, as long as it's under certain thresholds, which is about $128,000. And I got a whole video that we just completed that should go out this week that talks about all of that in more detail. So 2 different things for you to look for when it comes to taxes. So your taxes overall, when you sit down and figure them out, if you've got a government pension, if you've got teaching pensions, government pensions,
Yeah.
not private teaching.
Yeah.
Government. Portuguese, you will only pay your U.S. taxes on it, the Portuguese government. So anybody that, is a teacher or, has a government pension are really lucky from a
Yeah.
United States perspective. The rest of us, we have to manage the taxes where we're going to pay more. Okay. But keep in mind, your healthcare, a lot of your healthcare is paid for here. So that's part of what your tax base is doing. Okay. Let's see, where am I at next? I will meet an expat accountant, but I'm curious. When you say you can live on Social Security, is that amount before and after taxes? Yes, actually it is. Yes, we set it up that way. Now, like I said, we can't travel everywhere. So when you see us traveling and that kind of thing, that is paid for through our investments that we do and we manage. But we could travel all around the island and we can eat out and have, we can have a lovely life on the money that we have. No, we don't live in $1 million place, but it's nice. It's right by the water. It's lovely. So you can build a really nice life on your money. You just have to be good with it, realistically. Next one. How about the T word? Oh, the tax word.
Oh.
I'm a teacher planning to retire at the end of the school year in June. Well, if it's a public school, you've got an advantage for you. Oh, I know what I was going to say. On taxes, we have taxes for expats, and there's a couple others in there. Bright Tax that we use. We have affiliate links. Those are expat tax accountants. Contact them to talk about your U.S. taxes. Also, we have our Portuguese tax accountant listed in the description of our videos, as well as on the website under vendors. And if you contact Philomena's team, they can do a simulation for you. So from a Portuguese perspective, keep in mind, it's two different people. Okay. If you want the best, if you're going to get where somebody says they can take care of both, that means they're farming it out.
Yeah.
So you might as well just call and talk to them directly for that. Okay. So T word, teacher should be good. I mean, but I would still have Philomena run the numbers for you. Everybody's numbers are different. The pension's still deciding if to collect Social Security, what is tax in Portugal. Once you take your Social Security, though, you're still going to pay taxes. You always, if you're from the United States, you are paying your U.S. tax somehow. They get your money.
There's only 2 countries in the world that do that, and the U.S. is one of them.
But you won't be double taxed. So you pay your taxes in Portugal, and then whatever you had to pay in Portugal will apply against your U.S. taxes unless you break that $128,000 threshold. But there's some caveats to that. Okay. So I don't want someone to,
I'm not a tax expert. So
yeah, exactly. We are not tax accountants, but we do try and gather information, and it changes. So
yeah, it does change.
Make sure you're always talking to, final that you're talking to an expert. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. How tough is it to do taxes in both? It's very simple. We have a Portuguese accountant.
And we have an expat
and we
accountant.
have an expat accountant
You
that we
need
use.
both, really do.
It's just simple that way because we do our Portuguese taxes first, and then we do our U.S. taxes after that, and then anything we had to pay in Portugal comes. We got. I know all the years we lived in the United States, we are one of those rare people that we never got any money back. It was rare, if we got $20, we were like, ooh. We've actually gotten tax-free. We've actually gotten money back from the United States. It's kind of wild. So next, hey, everyone from Spain just moved here last week from California. Fantastic. Beautiful area. I wonder where in Spain. He didn't say exactly where. Your channel is definitely an inspiration. So thanks. Thank you. We're glad. We hope Spain is wonderful. Send us notes so that when we were plotting Barcelona, we've been plotting Barcelona lately because we've got some followers that are in Barcelona and we want to go and hang out. Yeah. Why not? It's close. Next, Is it possible to live daily life without owning a car?
Yeah, you're probably going to want to find someplace in town, someplace. Funchal would be a good example for that. You can live in a lot of areas of Funchal. You can walk to the grocery store, walk to the theater, walk to parks and things like that.
Mhm.
Everything you need. But yes, you can get by.
There's
Yeah,
three bus systems.
yeah. There's there's no trains here. It's a small
Right.
island, but
It's an
there's
island.
3 different buses. They don't have Uber, but they have Bolt, which is like it works like Uber. Um, they have plenty of taxis. You can get by. Um,
You talk to a car guy.
Yeah, I wasn't going to
He's
come
never
without a
gonna do
car.
that.
I got to drive. There's so many things
that you can't see.
it's a limiting thing.
Yeah, it's limiting.
You can get by, you can do it, but I want to be able to just jump in the car and I was like, I want to go here. Like I want to go to the golf course. It's 14 minutes up the hill, but it's 2,000 feet up. I just want to go up there, and I'm not going to get a bus to take me up there. So that's it.
But we talked all about Madeira. If you're anywhere in mainland Europe, so once you get off this island, the train system, the trams, the buses, oh my gosh,
Unlike
you
the
don't
US,
you don't have to have a car. No, you're not going to need a car. Like when we ran through France all that time, we had a car because because we just do. But you literally, it's no big deal. Our my stepdaughter came down and spent time with us, and we zipped all around, and we just picked her up at the train station.
Some of the places that we visit, I don't want a car, and I will not drive in. Like Lisbon.
You don't need a car there.
Paris, there's no way.
No
absolute way that I'd drive a car there.
No, Bordeaux, any you don't need a car. No. So there's a lot of spaces, a lot of wonderful places.
But here you can get by with that one. I would pick a larger community. This area that we're in is very walkable. Yeah, so just, do some scouting and figuring out where you want to go, but find some place that's walkable that has the amenities you need.
Okay, so internet stability, and then the process of bringing the pets. So the pets, one of the original videos that we did is still good. Everything in it, all the information is still good. So just type in pets on our channel and it'll come up, and we give a whole big shill on Greer and Rex. Mm-hmm. And how that process went. We also on our website have a link, and if you go over to more, it says free. There's a free checkoff list that Wolf put together that steps you through pets and how to do it step by step. It's very detailed. It's also the scariest thing that you end up doing.
There's a lot of time oriented things, like you have things that 30 days out, things are 10 days out.
And it's the thing that we know that people are literally, it's the thing that ends up being, that stresses you out the most after you've thrown out everything you owned, but you're going to flip out when it comes to the pet. And it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. I mean, it will be okay.
We have several people that brought them. We brought ours, and it can be done. Just a process to go through, just like anything else.
Yeah. If you're talking about internet stability here in Madeira, it's better than the internet we had in Chicago.
Yeah, it's fiber optics for most of the island.
They have they put a line in under the ocean, so
it's
pretty fantastic, actually. So then next up was from Cynthia. Thank you for all the videos. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it, and thank you for commenting. Yeah, because we see your comments in the. Not here in the chat, but in the videos. We thank everybody for that. That really helps us.
Yeah.
Next one is Dahlia's asking about the doctor's charge for visits, or they covered if you're a citizen. It depends on if you're using this public system or the private system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think lately that they've been running for office visit is like 18 euros. Using my insurance.
Using
I don't
private.
think it's much different with I think public gets. Is it free with the public?
Yeah, it's free.
I think it's free with public.
But you have to wait longer. So no matter what country you're going to, it doesn't, not just here, we do always recommend that you go ahead and get the private insurance. So it's well worth it. You're going to go to the front of the line. You want to talk about how that works a little bit?
Well, yeah. With the private, it guarantees you your choice of doctors. When you go in the public system, you call to make an appointment with somebody, you get who's on staff and at their convenience. When you call in the private system, I have a doctor that I've been going to since I've been here, and I only go to him. So I make an appointment with him, and it's usually within a matter of 3 or 4 days, I get in to see him. So it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. And if you needed to, you could.
And
go
then in
right
emergencies,
away.
obviously, you
Yeah.
get right in with either.
So
the private or
the
the
other
public
thing to
hospital.
understand is it's a little different than, so your private insurance is not as expensive as you think it's going to be, because major things are done in the public system,
Through the
such as
public system.
cancer. If you have a heart attack, if you ever are taken in an ambulance, you're going straight to the public system, because that's where the big trauma wards are. That's where all of the big equipment is, and you'll be well taken care of there. So it's state of the art, wonderful care. What you want to keep in mind is it's the aftercare. So it's easier to get the appointment with your heart doctor, because they work in both systems.
Yeah, the doctor.
So instead of having to
work
wait
parallel.
longer to get your appointment, you can see that heart doctor that you met in the private system at your convenience, and a little bit better. So it's well worth it. So when is tax day in Portugal? It's actually June 31st or June 30th, end of June,
Yeah.
end of July. And then you have to pay your taxes August 1st. So what you end up doing as a U.S. citizen is you get an automatic extension of 2 months that you don't have to apply for. You still have to, if you owed taxes in the United States, you would pay those taxes on April 15th, and you have to apply,
For the extension.
file
Yeah.
by June 15th. If you're not going to file by June 15th, and we don't, because we wait for our Portuguese taxes to get done, and so we then file for an extension till October 15th. Clear as mud. Let's see. Thank you for helping all of us. Question: how do you get your finances from the U.S.? Do you have a bank account in the U.S.? We do. We do. We have a couple. We have a number of accounts that we maintain in the United States. We do transfers, and we use a company called Spartan FX, which again, they're down in our thing. We have all the ones that we really trust. We put in the list. If we had people that we didn't like, we didn't put them on the list. So if you say, do you have a plumber? And it's like, well, no, we don't. So we didn't put it on the list. We didn't go find somebody a plumber. But Spartan FX is a company based out of London, and they do all your money exchanges. You also can use an app. We have a link for Wise, an affiliate link, and we use Wise for small things. But when you want to do something big, you're going to use Spartan. Spartan, you actually are going to call somebody on the phone. You're going to talk to real people. Yeah. We have a talk with him that I've got scheduled in 2 weeks, I think, to introduce what that is and how it works to everybody. Again, because we haven't talked about it in a long time. That's our fault. I think we're almost done. Let's see. I'm in okay. It's a Portuguese word, and I'm the worst in the family for this. Barca.
I can't see.
I'm in. You get the word. See it right there? See my little dude?
Oh, yeah.
We need an interpreter. Was out of the budget, laugh out loud. I'm on retirement visa, but young. Taking a work break. Oh, that was Bruce. He's a guy in Spain. That's why we don't know the word. That's why it's not clicking. So Bruce is one of the young ones. So you're one of the ones that when we're screaming, we should have done this sooner. We wish we were you, because by the time we finally got here, we figured out that we could have done this sooner. Yeah. We could have done this when we were much younger, or at least taken a break, a period of time. And we just truly highly recommend it. If you have means, great. But if you don't, there's a way.
Yeah, it can be
there
done.
Really is a way. So Conan the Barbarian says, you still using your American driver's license, or did you switch?
Here's the deal. You don't live in the United States. There's no way to get a renewal on it.
Once it goes bad.
And think about this. If you come from the United States on a tourist visa, you're here for 3 months, you're driving in a foreign country with your American license. You get a Portuguese license, and we're going to go back in the States, and I'm going to rent a car there. I'm going to be driving there on my Portuguese. It's no big deal. But you're required by law, if you're residents of Portugal, to exchange your driver's license after. So when you're 60 years old, you've got to exchange it. turned it in and actually handed it over, and I got a Portuguese license.
Right. They changed the law. When we got here, you had to do it, period. So Wolf actually exchanged his, even though technically his was good for like another 7 years.
But you know, you reside in Europe, so you got to have a European driver's license, just like a European residence card.
It's fine, and it's nervous.
Yeah,
It's
not a big
nerve-wracking,
deal.
we get it, but it's really, it's okay.
Just don't take away my ability to drive. That's all. I don't care whose country's on.
Right, and we have.
If
If you're here on Madeira, we've got a lady that will send you to. Now, contact ACP, regardless of where you are. If you're in Portugal, and that's automotive
they can help
club.
you with any driver's
And
issues,
even in Spain or France, every country has an automotive club, just like, we're used to AAA. Contact the automotive club and they will help you through all of this. It's so simple. It's, it's worth paying your whatever they charge you that first year, even if you don't use it again. Great information, especially good to hear Leslie's details. Sorry, I obviously am the one that know all the details, so you get stuck with my voice. What is it? Okay, what is the assisted living care like in Portugal?
Well, I toured one a couple of years ago. Pretty nice. The facility was, pretty modern and had all the amenities that you would expect to have in a home facility like in the United States, and it was about a third of the cost on some of the ones that I previewed in the States.
Oh yeah,
it was a very nice facility.
It was fantastic, actually. Yeah. All the rooms have views of the ocean. It was pretty dynamite.
And they've got,
at the time it was less. It was like 5,500 euros for a double. So like both of us, which versus 14,000 for your Billy's.
Yeah.
So it was a deal. But they're beautiful. They don't have as many, so you do need to plan for it. I mean, the planning, and obviously, you just like in the States, you probably don't want the one that Medicare supplies, or so you don't want that one. I mean, if you don't have to, just simply that's not going to be very nice. So, Greer's yelling at us. She says, it's time. It's been an hour. So we got a couple more questions. We'll do this and then we'll be done for today. How much was your property built in the remodeling? Actually, we don't really tell you how much all that was. So we got a good deal. It was a bankrupt piece. It was an auction. We had to buy it for cash.
It was a cash deal.
It was a cash deal. You had 10 minutes to decide yes or no. So we bought it. It was, we didn't have a big budget. So we had to, wait long and hard. It took us a couple of years to find something that would work. And then the remodel, we put 35 into it. So we put another 35 into it to do the remodel. And this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We did a whole new kitchen and stuff. But it's a lovely location. The remodels are just as expensive as you would pay in the U.S. And anymore, unless you're going out to like Braga, you're going out far enough, housing is expensive here. So, at least by comparison to the Midwest or the South. If you're from the West Coast or the East Coast, then it's cheap. Don't worry about it. They're giving them, in your world. 35. Bruce is 35 in case anybody wants to know. Cynthia, thank you. That's sweet. There's Greer. Let's say, please say hi to your son.
Hi, Wolf.
Everybody's saying hi to you. He's awesome. He is awesome. We think he's darling. There's Christopher. He says, healthcare question. Do you keep your U.S. healthcare plan in addition to, we don't anymore?
All I retained is my Medicare Part A, which is the free part.
She's wiggling. Yeah, which is the free part. But we don't recommend that you cancel if you're already on Medicare. We don't recommend that you cancel it till you get here. You've been here a year. You feel really, really good about your decisions, regardless of where you're going.
Yeah, it's personal decision, so you have to weigh out.
Right. If here is in Asia, it doesn't matter. Wherever here is, just keep it because there is a fine to get rid of that.
Right.
If you go back, right? There's a penalty to re-up.
Penalty to
I knew I was saying it wrong. Right. So just, go slow on that one. But most of your healthcare policies, they don't cover you when you're over here for any length of time. They're just going to cover you for, 3-month travel piece. And then after that, they're going to, it'll be a problem anyway. Dun, 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 dun.
You're on TV.
Thank you for all that you do. Everybody's leaving. When you remodeled the kitchen, no, they asked if I could do it, just garbage disposal. So that's one of the things I was going to put in this chat at the beginning and say, some of us Americans, we get hung up on things, and like we've given up. We don't have a double wide. We have a skinny little refrigerator. I mean, just all these wonderful things. But the one thing that I'm like, oh, I really wish I had a garbage disposal.
The plumbing can't handle it.
Nobody even knows what they are.
They don't do it.
They don't know what they are.
No.
Anyway, we are going to sign off. Thank you to everybody for being here. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for stopping. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
It'll be fun. Bye.
Bye-bye.